Welcome back to another Tequila Bums review presented by Green Valley Wine and Spirits, 344 Commons Drive in Bolingbrook, Illinois. I'm Baloney. I'm back with my hermano Joey P. Joey P, you're looking like $1,000,000. I didn't get the memo. We're dressing up for this review.
Well, looking like $1,000,000. I feel like $1,000,000 when we're reviewing this G4 special single barrel edition episode. Oh,
Exclusive. Can I say exclusive to the United States? Maybe exclusive to the world. We got 2 single barrel G4 bottles that you might not ever see again.
yeah, these, especially this Anejo, the legend says it is the one and only Anejo single barrel that will ever exist. Maybe ever.
That's one, that's awesome. One, that's a flex. But 2, I'm expecting big things from this.
Oh, yeah.
So shout out to Moreno's Liquors.
Moreno's Liquors in
Little Village, Chicago, Illinois. Joey P, you were there for their release of these 2 bottles. What can you tell me about the experience of being at Moreno's Liquor for these?
It was a phenomenal experience growing up in Little Village myself, going back to the neighborhood. I got to see my tias down the street to make sure I had my menudo in the morning. So I was ready and warmed up because it was a very cold Chicago morning. So got up early on a Sunday, and being the good boy that I was, I went ahead and I stood in line like anybody else would on a Sunday morning outside of a liquor store on the south side of Chicago. And I got a lucky magic ticket to be able to acquire both of these bottles in combo with picking up some, delicious single barrels from Moreno's Liquors. So it was a great experience nonetheless. Got to also experience until the store opened once I grabbed my lucky lottery ticket, the Ositos Tap, which is part of the brand there at Moreno's Liquors, where they have their own tap room. Great bar. Got to meet Santana, the bartender there. He had the whole place moving, jiving, and juking. We were having a great time until the liquor store opened, and then they moved us into the liquor store after. We got to try both of these before, and I've got some great news to share with you all in this review.
All right. So before we get to the actual review, we got to talk a little bit about G4 itself, right?
Yes.
G4, I feel like it's more of a up-and-coming tequila and not necessarily a legacy distillery, but I feel like within the last, what would you say, maybe 3 years, I feel like they've blown up to be a big name in the game.
Yeah, this is right now a legacy brand, literally, and that's what it's become. It's become a legacy brand here in the United States and obviously in Mexico. They are named happily after their 4th generation of their family. So the 4th generation pretty much took over the reins of the process of distilling their tequilas and making their family proud. They're going all the way back. So in all the processes that they do, they go from distilling their tequilas in Los Altos. And in Los Altos, they're using, like rainwater, literally, like spring water, natural spring water and rainwater to be able to produce these products for us to enjoy. They're using the volcanic rock known as the Tahona, rock. So to go ahead and crush these fibers for us so they can extract the best of the best for us. And that's exactly what I think we have right here sitting in front of us.
That's exciting. So we should mention NAM 1579 in Los Altos de Jalisco. How much did these run you?
These both ran me pretty affordable, to be honest. This ran about $65 to $70. This one was right around the $100 mark. They were only about $5 more, being that they're single barrel specialties over the MSRP. So I was like, oh my goodness.
I mean, I'm gonna be honest with you. $100 for a bottle that allegedly you might never get again.
Yeah,
that feels like a steal.
Yeah,
me coming from the bourbon world, and we do whiskey reviews and single barrels, and every special release from any of these big names, they're asking $200-$300 at a time. For you to be able to say you might never see this bottle again, and you're spending $100 on it. No, I'm not saying $100. I mean, it goes a long way. Like what's cheap to some people is high price on others. Mm-hmm. But I feel like that's a great deal.
No, absolutely, and we'll kick it off right here, and you'll find out that Don Felipe Camarena, the main man down there at G4, he is he's a legend for a reason. He's making the G4 name and the fourth generation's proud.
That's awesome. Before we get to the actual notes in the tastings, let's get to a quick ad from our sponsor, Green Valley Wine and Spirits.
Green Valley Wine and Spirits in Bolingbrook is the best liquor store in the southwest suburbs. Come see their newly expanded and remodeled location for all your liquor needs. They have a great craft beer selection, an ever-expanding portfolio of tequilas and bourbon, and a new wine rack showcasing the best wines around. And while you're there, stop by their newly added tasting bar to try all the Bourbon Bum store picks before you buy. That's Green Valley Wine and Spirits, 344 Commons Drive at the corner of Route 53 and I-55 in Bolingbrook. And tell them the Bum sent you.
All right, thank you to Green Valley Wine and Spirits. Enough with the pageantry, enough with the hype, because I'm not going to lie, Joey, you're hyping this up. You dressed up, you look like $1 million, like I said. Let's get to the actual tasting. What can you tell me about the Reposado first?
The Reposado has been aged for 8 months. 8 months in barriles de naranja. So you're going to get the orange citrusy note right off the bat on this one.
So that's a type of wine from Spain, right? Vino de naranja.
Vino de naranja. Yep.
Yeah. When you mentioned that to me, I was expecting the citrusy notes. Like when you see Vino de naranja, I am expecting orange peel, heavy. Yep. But I didn't get that necessarily. I got grape. I told you I got like a white grape, like it's really grapey to me. Other than, I'll tell you, the agave presence is there. It smells great.
The agave, of course, as it should. Any G4 that you have, no matter the expression, the cooked agave smacks you right in the face, and you like it.
I also got like a yerba buena. It's almost like a mint note to it. Like I know my shout out my abuelita. She would like roll yerba buena in her hands, and then you smell it. It's like a really herbal mint.
Yeah.
I got a lot of that right at the end of the nose.
Opens us up. Yeah, absolutely.
It smells great.
It really does.
All right, let's get to the tasting. Salud.
Salud.
Ooh. Man, that is lights out. That is crazy. So the agave presence, the fresh cooked agave is there. And then there's like a honeydew melon to it. Yeah. Right?
You get that melon. Yeah, right. I get that in the finish. Yeah.
I will say there was a little bit of cheating because I did see that tasting note in their Instagram note. But as soon as I tried it, I was like, holy cow, it's honeydew. Or it's like a melon, if you will.
Yeah, it's very... It's saturated to the point where it's almost like refreshing. You know, it's not the tequila that will like give you a over dried out note.
That's really, really good. We do have some water. I wanna get to the añejo and then kind of do a side by side and give it a grade. So I'm gonna clean my palate, rinse my palate, and then let's get to this añejo, which is one of a kind. One of a kind. For now, we'll see. I'm you're sure, doing it for now.
I know Don Felipe. He's down there in Jalisco. He's like, yeah, it's for now, because he's great. He's a great mind, and I know he's got something else up his sleeve. I know.
Okay. All right. So, what can you tell me about this añejo?
Well, the añejo has been reported aged at 13 months, cognac barrels. So obviously you're going to get a different flavor profile here, both on the nose and on the palate. And if you're a cognac lover, then obviously this is going to be right up your alley. And on the nose, what do you pick up right away?
The cognacs. The cognac presence is there, and it's strong. Yeah. It's leather. It's like pepper and tobacco. It's almost like I give this note a lot for bourbon reviews, but it's like a humidor, like when you open a cigar humidor.
Yes.
I get a lot of that. I asked you earlier, I was like, do you get a lot of agave? And you said, yeah, I got agave. I'm fighting to get agave from this because the cognac presence is so there.
Yeah. Well, for me, I'm like 2/3 on the nose myself. I get the cooked agave 2/3 of the nose, and the other third, I'll get the exact leathery cognac note on the palate that you're talking about. Yep.
All right. You're making the noises. Whenever you guys watch our reviews, if Joey's making noises, you know we're having a good time. I'm going to be honest with you guys, and we should be honest, right? We're doing
of course,
we're doing these
100%.
reviews. I came into this review really excited about this bottle because, like you mentioned, it was one of a kind. You might not ever see it again. As soon as I had it before we started reviewing it, there was a little bit of hesitation there because, again, I'll harken back to my whiskey things. I typically don't like cognac finished whiskeys, and I thought I wasn't going to like this cognac finished tequila. I thought it was going to be overpowering. I had to sit with it for a good 5 minutes. I said, let's not record all the way. Give me another second.
Yeah.
At first, I didn't like it. After I sat with it for a little while and kind of let it open up and like just gave it time, it's pretty damn good.
Oh my God.
Because it's different. It's unlike anything I've ever had in tequila.
Yes.
If this was a finished cognac whiskey, I would tell you right away, honestly, I would not have liked it.
Right.
But because the agave presence is there and it's something so unique, it kind of threw me by surprise. I didn't want to like it, to tell you the truth. But the more I sit with it and the more I sip it, because it's so different and it's so good, like just the quality is there, it's pretty damn good.
Yeah, this for me, when I tried it at Ositos Tap and my wife was there present with me and we tried both, it was pretty mind-blowing for both of us because, you know, the whole single barrel game has really infiltrated the tequila market these days, and I wanted to make sure that we got to experience these because G4, being one of the big players in the game, I wanted to make sure that, you know, we had a, you know, firsthand in the cookie jar, so to speak, and it did not disappoint, and I'm still like I feel special getting to try these expressions here today because they're both so phenomenal.
So I haven't given the tasting notes to it, and I'm sure you guys are waiting for them, but it is everything you expect a cognac finished tequila to taste. The agave is there, you know, the leather, the oak, the pepper, the clove. There's a little bit of like a cinnamon there too, like at the end. It's complex for it.
It's very complex.
It's aged what? You said 13 months?
13 months aged.
It's like the color doesn't look, it's not like a super dark añejo.
Not at all. Being the 13 months, the barrel that it was in,
There's not a lot of barrel influence from the actual wood there.
Yeah.
But the cognac is there.
The cognac is very present. Yeah, it is.
It's different, man. Yeah. It's taking me for a loop. All right, this is kind of hard. We're going to give it grades. We have to give it grades.
We have to.
But
that's what we do as Tequila Bums.
Let's start with the Repo, because I'll be honest, I like the Repo better. I think when I'm expecting a G4 product, or I'm looking to drink something as like I wouldn't say daily sipper, but you know, a special occasion or like a weekend, like this is a pretty special bottle. I would generally gravitate to this more than I would gravitate to this.
Yes,
you have to be in the mood for this type of bottle.
Yeah, for me particularly, I as I mentioned, I love both expressions. I'm a big fan of both. Before we get to the grading, I'm on the other side of the fence because this is a one-of-a-kind experience for me, literally, as the legend says and grows, because I like cognac. And just like I love bourbon too, it gives me the best of both worlds when it comes to my palate. It's something so unique. Maybe we won't ever see it again.
Yeah, and to tell you the truth, I might be in the minority. You know, like if you gave this to a lot of tequila drinkers or a lot of just like, you know, tequila fans, they would probably say this is better than this. But I understand this is a me problem and not a general problem.
Everyone has a different palate.
But everyone has a different palate.
And that's what makes us great.
All right, let's get to the grades because I'm sure that's what everybody's waiting for. Let's start off with the Repo. This is one of the best Repo single barrels I've ever had. I'm going high on this. 9.1.
9.1 for you?
9.1 for this. I'm lucky enough. I want to give a quick shout out, not just to you, Joey P, but Sandy P. You're ride or die. She stood in line with you to be able to get multiple bottles of these. So you guys asked me, do you want the Repo? I obviously graciously took it off your hands, paid you for it. But I have a bottle of this on my own, and I'm excited to pop it, whenever I can at home. 9.1.
9.1. I have to be gravitas to your 9.1. I was actually thinking 9.3 for this.
Okay.
I'm just infatuated with how great this repo came out. I've tried, obviously I've got backup supply of most of the G4 expressions, all of them. And when I got to try this Vino de Naranjas, it was like, this is something unique. And I joke when I say that there will be other expressions like this in the future. I really don't know. I'm joking, of course. If they say it's only once in a lifetime, it's once in a lifetime. I'm glad that, I had the pleasure to experience it. And I hope anyone that I get to share this with, and that's what bottles are for, is for sharing. And I hope to be able to share this with many others.
All right, the Anejo.
The Anejo.
I'll start it off. I know you're going to give it a high grade.
You already know.
I'm going to give it a good grade. I don't think I'm going to give it a high grade. The only reason I can't give it the same grade I gave like the Tapatio Excelencia and stuff like that, because that's an Anejo that stands on its own merits. It wasn't finished. It's just aged. And I feel like if I'm giving it like this, I don't want to call it a gimmick. I don't want to call it a gimmick because it's not what this is.
Not at all.
But like, I can't compare it to just an extra Anejo or just a standard Anejo that isn't finished and everything like that. So while I'll give it a high grade, I'm not going to go into the 9s. I'm giving this an 8.6.
8.6 for you, yeah. For me, I'm giving this up until this point in the Tequila Bums. This is going to be in my top 3. So I'm going to give this a 9.3. Hey, I meant to say 9.4.
Yeah, that makes sense. I know you like it. I know a lot of people are going to like it.
Yeah.
I'm intrigued. So this is going to be a Chicago-specific ask for the people in the comments.
Yes.
If you were at Moreno's, if you're lucky enough to grab it,
yes,
we'll tag people on Instagram. You got friends in the tequila community in Chicago. Am I wrong? Maybe I'm judging this like with the bias. But I'm intrigued by it. Yeah, that's all we got. Joey, thank you for sharing these bottles because, like you mentioned, bottles are meant to be shared. But these are very special, and I'm lucky to be able to call you a friend and pop some bottles with you.
Absolutely, and you never know. 2 weeks of this bottle being opened, you never know coming back to it a couple weeks from now how you might grade it even better.
All right, before we wrap this up because this is getting long. Do tequila bottles open up like a whiskey bottle? Because I say this all the time in whiskey. A bottle of whiskey that opens up after 2-3 weeks, even 2-3 months. Have you noticed that same similarity with tequila?
I've noticed it particularly with the extra añejos.
Okay, that makes sense. For the añejos and bottles that have a barrel influence, I think that makes more sense. I never really thought about it that way.
Yes.
See, we're learning something as a group.
Absolutely. So here we are.
So thank you to Joey. Thank you to Joey and Sandy. Thank you to Osito's Tap.
Yep.
Moreno's Liquor. And especially thank you to you guys. Please like, subscribe, and share. Thank you to Green Valley Wine and Spirits, 344 Commons Drive in Bolingbrook, Illinois. I'm going to finish this repo because it's fantastic. And we'll see you next week for another Tequila Bums review.
Salud.